We need to move on to next presentation, Elli. That is Elli Heikkilä.
Dear conference participants, great to be here in this Aleksanteri-konferensi 2016, and very important topics we have over here. This presentation for this panel deals today about integration of immigrants in the Finnish labor market, still efforts to be done, and I will also show something about what are the future developments in demographic sense in this country, because there will be need for labor immigrants in our society. First, I would like to show you and have the picture about what type of immigrant background people we have, the statistics about these immigrants born abroad. 2014 we had over 300,000 persons living in the country, and the most common countries are the close by countries, neighbor countries, like it is always in many cases around the world. It is easy to move from the nearby neighbor country. And we have this former USSR and Russia, those who were born in this area, over 66,000 persons. From Estonia, 42,000, as you can see, and Sweden, something like 32,000. And then we have this refugee background population in the country, and also very distant movers from China, Thailand. These are the biggest groups what we have. And then we have former Yugoslavia, Germany, Turkey. And of course there are many reasons behind of each of the migrants who have moved over here. It was mentioned already here that we got last year a lot of asylum seekers. Actually the number was 10 times higher compared to the year 2014. And like Eve was saying, there is a process going on, and we know that there will be a lot of people who don't get these resident permits. Some assumptions have been like maybe 1/3 of those, that number, they will stay in Finland. What about the demographics and this age structure of these population groups? And this is like, you can see background, this blue area. This is for Finland, total Finland. You can see what type of really population age structure. We don't have similar compared to those bars, those blue bars, foreign countries total. And if you look, these people are in good age for the labor market point of view, what we discussed today here. Also for having a family and future generations to this country. And you can see some examples from the close by countries, the curves. And when we go to this labor market issue, we had in the early 1990s the situation that we have very high depression in the country. Actually, it was the biggest depression compared to the all Nordic countries. And that time in the early 1990s, we got a lot of Indian background population, we got Somali background people. And you can see the numbers for unemployment rate for foreigners and total population in those times, and they are like 3 times higher, which is very common in many other countries. When we look at the latest numbers, what I can find from the Statistics Finland website, we had those people who were employed and were foreign citizens. We had year 2014 over 80,000 persons. It is still quite low number for all employed in Finland, less than 4%. But however, in our labor markets we have active people in that sense that they are employed. But then we have also over 30,000 in that time unemployed foreign citizens. And you can see this unemployment rate for foreign citizens and Finnish citizens. It is still like double nowadays. But we have to remember there are huge differences when we look at different background people from where people have moved over here. If we look at first Estonians, we have had that year something like 25,000 employed Estonians in Finland. They are doing actually very well in the labor markets. They know Finnish language, similar type of culture and so on. Among Swedes we have also quite low unemployment rate, but for Russians it has been 41% unemployment rate. And when we look at this refugee-background population, the numbers are very high. Like for Somali population, 73%. Also for Iraqis, it is the same size. But then we have like Indians. You know that we have had this Nokia boom earlier times, and people from India, they started to search a job from our country. I was discussing with some Indian background person, and he was saying that the reason why the person moved to Finland and to work to Nokia was that they wanted to have in their CV, this in their curriculum, that they have been working in Finland, and actually that person's purpose was to go to USA labor markets. So it was some kind of like transition place, this our country in that, for that person. Then we have to remember we have these entrepreneurs, and what we know, these immigrant background people, they have higher propensity to start own business. They also can hire Finnish natives or from other ethnic groups. This has been seen also, like colleague Ali Najib in Sweden has been researching this issue, and you can see the figures, like we have had year 2014 over 8,000 foreign citizens as entrepreneurs, and that is also like 3% of all entrepreneurs in Finland. But you can see the numbers, like what is interesting, there is very high number for Turkish entrepreneurs. They have this culture to start their own business, and 37 of the employed among this Turkish population, they are entrepreneurs. But it is very low, for example, for Somali background people. I was really double checking this number, that did I took it correct, that there are only 5 Somali entrepreneurs, and it is 1% of employed Somalis. But we have, like for example, from Estonia, almost 2,000 entrepreneurs, and 8% among those who are employed, and they are Estonian background people. Then I would like to show you from that book what I mentioned to you, which was funded and research which we did together with Maria Pikkarainen, and it was funded by European Social Fund. This is an example. I have more recent figures next, but this is showing clearly that we have the gender labor markets. These numbers are like we bought the data from Statistics Finland, all people who moved to Finland year 2002. And those were between ages 15 to 74. That is the concept what Statistics Finland uses. And then we follow the same people after 1 year. They have been living exactly the same people in our country, and in which branches they were employed. They were working actively. And you can see the trade is number 1 for both males and females, but we have like males more in finance, insurance, real estate and business activities. This is very similar nowadays, but just an example like this. Then we have more males working in construction sector, manufacturing, electrical machinery, and also transport and communication, but then women, where we have more women compared to males, education and research, health work and social work. And what about the recent numbers? This was the latest statistics, and this is for employ foreign origin, and this is the comparison for Finnish origin men and foreign origin men. And you can see where is the excess compared to total of this Finnish population and then foreign background people, that to which sectors they go more commonly compared to Finns. And it is, you can see service and sale workers, it is much higher for immigrant background people compared to the natives, but they're very much similar for crafts and related traders workers. And also these elementary jobs where belongs these cleaners and construction sector workers, it is where there are much more foreign background people. And for women, the picture is very much different, but you can see it is also the same for service and sales workers, that it is quite similar for Finnish origin and foreign origin people, but we have very much these women, foreign background women in elementary occupations. But of course we have professionals. We have to always remember we have a lot of professionals in our country. And the picture is very wide because that is the real situation. And then when we look at these labor markets and immigration, we have to notice that each individual case is different. And we can talk about differential integration. There are people who have visited in Finland earlier, maybe as a tourist, maybe as Erasmus student, or for some other reasons, but there are also newcomers who never have been here. And many times it is the case for asylum seekers. Then we have people who have learned Finnish or Swedish language already in the origin country. We know these cases, there are these people, but there are also people who are coming here who never have been speaking any of these two languages. We have marriage migrants. We have every year in this country like 3,700 marriages where the other person is Finnish background person and another one is foreign background person. And these numbers, we have tens of thousands of people in the country. And these Finnish spouses, we could expect that they help these foreign background spouses to find work in our labor markets. Then we have, when looking the situation, we have illiterates and we have highly skilled immigrants. And Elli was already talking about this importance of language learning. What has been said already that 10 years ago, around, or 8 years ago, we were discussing about this while we launched together with Maria the book, that there is need for different type of language courses. Some are more developed, some start from the basics, some even start to use the pencil, you know. Some never have been using or writing anything with the pencil, so it is a really huge difference. And this further education to get these qualifications updated to Finnish standards, this is very important. We have highly educated among the groups. Henna Kyhä was asking several years ago in her dissertation that why Russian background medical doctors get not work here in Finland. And it means that people have a lot of experiences in the origin countries, but when they come, for example, to our country, we have certain standards, and then people have to stay in the and have some extra education to have the same system as we have. But that means the motivation from the person to do that. And then we need to map these knowledge skills and identifying these different skills when we talk about refugee background people who have moved to country. And then having these internships and so on. And what I want to say here in the quite end of my presentation, this is very important to notice what kind of demographic development we have in Finland. When you look at the earlier times, you can see these are the dark blue are for children less than 15 years old, and the lighter blue it is for 65 plus population. And the development is now totally opposite. When we earlier had in our society, we had big families, lots of children living in the rural areas and so on. Now the population has changed. We have something like 1.8 children per couple. It is less than replacement for the population. And also we live longer lives. And it has affected that we have about who we take care. It is more and more nowadays the elderly population. And it was discussed here about this mismatch situation, and here are examples of the 10 smallest this dependency ratio, which are doing fine in the population structure, and the 10 worst. And this reality in different regions of the country is really different. Helsinki is doing very fine, lots of people are moving here, we have urbanization going on, we get immigrant population over here, and so on. But then when we look at these smaller regions, and these are just only top 10, because we have a lot of hundreds of municipalities, the reality is that in many municipalities we have in eastern and northern Finland, the cases where the death rate of the population is higher compared to the birth rate, they also lose population in country internal migration, and they don't get immigrant population, as you can see. And also the median age of the population, it is very, very high. So this is an absolute challenge. And in the end, I would like to mention this European website on integration and the address. This is European Commission funding special website which was launched in year 2009. And I was personally 4 years the country coordinator for Finland. And this is, our institute is the partner from Finland. But we have in all European Union countries the member organizations and who are adding the information every month to this website. And there are information, documents, news, good practices and so on from each of EU countries. So I advise you to check sometimes if you have time for it, and I thank you.